If you've got a 2004 to 2008 F-150 Harley Davidson edition or LARIAT edition and your speedometer is glitching out and you don't know what to do, stick around. You're about to find out. Welcome back to Automotive Electronics. What we got today is we're going to be looking at this 02 to 08, somewhere in that version, F-150, somewhere in those year ranges. F-150 Harley Davidson edition. Wonder if it's got loud pipes. Loud pipes save lives. Anyway, here we go. We'll throw some power to it, and we initially had nothing going on there. Now we got it powering up decently, but yep, with manipulating these back here, we can get it to act all kinds of funky. Alright, let's get her apart. Go ahead and kill this power here. Start our disassembly process. T15's on the back. Comes off. Next thing you're going to want to do is get your lens off. Clips on top. Clips on the bottom. And your lens is off. Alright, now we're going to get our needles rotated counterclockwise to the stop and give ourselves the tiniest little mark to mark where those stops are. Just a reference for us when we go to put the needles back on. We're going to rotate counterclockwise against the stops we're pulling up. And that should get you your instrument cluster circuit board freed up from the rest of it. Plug her back in here and see if we can see a little bit more of what's going on here. Got us some critters in here. Okay, so right now we have power on and we have no response from the cluster, so there we go. Board torsion doesn't really do anything. Get nothing out of the board torsion, but now we're not really able to get it to act up. Happens sometimes when you start manipulating them, they start acting right. Not seeing anything super egregious on this one. Get over and look at it a little closer under the microscope. What I'm going to be looking at is the back of these plugs here. See if we can see any cracking in there. Make sure we're focused. I didn't see anything. Where are we at here? I need to be at the end of my fingertip. Okay. Got too much stuff on my desk in the way, or my workbench in the way here. Get this squared up a little bit. Not seeing anything funky there. The other side of the board here. So up in this area, which we're right underneath the left-hand cluster plug now, we tend to see a lot of cracked solder joints and resistors trying to come off, and or just not adequately attached. So we'll reflow all of that. The way this one's acting, it's going to get the full tilt boogie. So now what we're seeing is powered up with no display. But just manipulation of these caused the display to come up. See if we can read. So anyway, that just basically tells you things are turning loose on the board. And the answer to these, unfortunately, for me, especially when you can't see anything that's wrong, is go over the entirety of the board. So we're just going to start soldering. I'm going to go from one end to the other. You hit all the major components. We're going to come back to this side. We're going to hit all of this stuff over here. Pretty much the whole damn thing. Because as soon as you leave one thing out, it's going to come back to bite you. Alright. So I'm going to start soldering. Probably going to speed this up. I'll show you a few solder joints up close. But you don't want to see me solder this whole damn thing. Trust me. It's going to take a while. Y'all would just fast forward anyway. So might as well make it interesting with some I'll get you some close-up footage here. So I don't typically use flux except for like the reflow in the processor. I handle this wire that I use, the solder wire that I use, has some flux in it. So it's generally enough that as long as I don't have a long dwell time on each of these pads, and I'm trying to do this in the TV screen right now, so I'm going a little slower. As soon as anyway, I just add a little bit to each one of these. As soon as I switch over and start doing this with my eyeballs instead of the TV screen, you'll see I get a lot quicker with it. Alright, let's get that done. I'm going to be quiet because we're just going to probably do a little hastening of the video. Get my eyeballs on. Of course, if you are having problems, if you've done all through-hole components and you've done the other side of the board and you're still having problems, then you're going to want to hit everything you can.
I had to beat it on the way over here to get it to work.
You called in?
I called in yesterday.
Yes,
2004 Silverado. Richard.
I just realized I didn't take y'all off of pause. So I've been sitting here soldering the front side of this thing. Which basically I just did this little area here. Just going to solder all the components on the front side here, especially attentive to this area underneath this plug here. Whenever I get a Harley Davidson cluster in, I always wonder, do they even have a Harley? Okay, we're going to cycle this thing several times and play with it a little bit. See if we can get it to act goofy anymore. Pushing all around on it, trying to get it to screw up if it's going to. Got a couple beeps out of it. Not sure what that was about, but display never went off. Didn't seem to glitch otherwise. I'm getting a little drop test. We get a little on off on here on the display here, so we're gonna go over a couple things underneath the display. I'm gonna try to do that the easy way. A little hot air and flux. Turn my heat all the way up on my hot air and turn the air pretty much all the way down. So we're just applying heat in there, not much on the airflow. So we don't want to blow any components off that we have to go chasing down. Just want to reflow any solder that's there that might be turning loose. I'll show y'all just a second kind of what I'm getting at here. Alright. So all I was doing is sticking that tip in there. and trying to get up underneath there to flow those components underneath this display. Let's see if we get the same results on this little test I was doing. We are getting a little weird action there. Go over these a little, see if that'll go away. Little tiny components in this driver here. Since we got the hot air fired up, we'll try that method first. Here. Alright, well, it just earned itself a processor reflow too. Yeah, we still have this going on, so I'll work on this off camera a little bit. Okay, well, I had this thing I was working off camera here, and that oil drop test, got it to go away by reflowing Looks like a little TSV, TVS over here, and a couple of a capacitor and a resistor, a little triad of components over here. That seems to have stopped that whole glitching of the display. And I can't get it to do nothing wrong now. So, believe we got it. Everything turned off and shut down on my heat. Whole lot of flux application here when you get off. So the way we go about that, it's a nice generous application of alcohol, a scrub brush. I remember everything I put flux on here. Clean it all up. Grab up all the excess alcohol. These Chemtech wipes are pretty good. They seem to do a pretty good job. That's what they are right there. Oh, now you can probably read it. Seems to definitely be better than a paper towel. They don't leave as many of the little stray fibers behind, and they'll still catch on things every now and then, but not as bad as a paper towel. And they seem to get the stuff more than a paper towel would. They seem to get the stuff you're after. We're surviving the little drop test. Beat on it and don't do anything wrong. Alright. Good to go. Now that we're clean, let's get it back together. You're better off to put the back on first. That way everything's solid. Anyway, these Fords, pretty much you have to go with them until you get it. It's not always the same thing on the Fords. Usually it involves a lot more soldering than you really want to do. So we're just rotating these against the stops back around to the position that we marked. Alright, and we'll plug her in. Make sure we're still good. Looks like we're still good. We still got a good display. Can't see it in the camera, but it's there. Glare and stuff going on, but it's there. It's working. Camera makes it look like it's wavy, but it's just the camera. In real life, it's solid on. The lens will go back on just like so. Little spritz. A little cleanup. And we are ready to ship this one back to its owner. Get you a close up of that. There you go. Okay, folks, if that helped y'all out in any way. Oh shit, I don't even have my microphone. Yes, I do. I can't find my ass with both hands right now. Anyway, if that helped y'all out in some way, give me a little like and subscribe. That's all I'm asking. It's all free. You guys have a good one.